Volatility is actually continuing to elevate itself within the technology stock markets. James, what does this mean? Are we going to see continued volatility for tech?
I mean, it's interesting that tech is up 16% this year versus the broader group up 8%. So you're in a situation where, replicating that performance in the second half looks difficult. But at the same time, if you break it down into the more granular components, tech continues to be under-indexed versus, what it was during historical, high valuation peaks. The valuation relative to then those times during the bubbles is also lower. So on that basis, you can make a fundamental argument that the next move is up, and I can tell you that our clients continue to remain long and strong, the big cap names. But I do think that you have to kind of think about the operating this new paradigm of the digital world, where we're going to get into that, but the antitrust risks and things of that nature is in what's happening in Europe. So are these companies getting too big? That does add another element of scrutiny into the tech.
From a public market analyst to a private sector investor, I mean, Eileen, at times like this, a good time or a worrying time to investing in the private markets? Are we seeing valuations coming down or indeed toppy still?
Well, I think one thing that's always been the case with tech is you've got the private markets being rather insulated from the public markets, which is probably why, one reason anyway, companies such as Uber and the like have stayed private for as long as they have. You can kind of be insulated from what's happening and what's swinging in the public markets, at least from what I do in the very earliest stages of investing at Passion Capital, and I think other seed stage investors. We're largely insulated from what's happening. What we care about is probably M&A opportunities and how much cash these companies have in order to acquire maybe smaller companies that are coming through the pipeline. And
you think that now bodes well? They've got a lot of cash on the balance sheets?
Exactly. I think there's still a lot of cash on the balance, even something like an Apple, for example, and looking at how much cash sits outside of the United States. So for investors such as ours in London, in Europe, outside the United States, a lot of cash that hasn't been repatriated yet that should be used for M&A.